do it.
Give them the love. Wow, this is a freak code.
All nonsense.
Sure, it's only a bitch.
Live from the new kingdom.
Honest to God, I really
It's
do
the
believe it.
Big Dumb Mouth Podcast. Now, here's your hosts, Midnight Mike,
Yep.
Joe,
Yep.
and Retro.
Yep.
A made-up bitch.
Hey, everyone, welcome back to another fun-filled podcast adventure. Hooray, my name is Midnight Mike, and I'm joined by Charlie of Macroaggressions.
How are you?
I'm doing well. You know, I miss you and Ricky on Union of the Unwanted.
Miss
You
you
guys
too.
have held it down over there, keeping it going. God bless you for doing that. So I do gotta pop in before year's out and come do a show with you guys again, and just to say hi and see what's been going on in your guys' worlds.
Absolutely. It's been the greatest accidental show ever. You know, when we started that in the summer of 2020, thinking we would just get together and do that one time, it was so much fun. Let's do it again and again. And now we've crossed over, I think, 100 shows.
Yeah.
So not bad. And always having interesting conversations, or, you know, when you get enough people on a call like that, sometimes it can be too much,
Yeah.
of course. And it's like, you know, you're in the lab mixing up chemicals, seeing what happens. Add a little Steve Poikin in here. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Explode. Boom.
Yeah. You see what you put this person next to that person and see if this is going to be a good fit. And sometimes it's, you know, one of the shows I really remember was when we had all the tech CEO guys on there, and they started talking to one another about what they were doing, and it was interesting. You could see them saying, we can do that. Yeah, we do that. We can help you out with that. Oh, let's talk about, you could see them kind of networking and the light bulb going off. And I thought, this is great. This is kind of, if that's what it becomes, sort of a, something that gets these people introduced to each other and thinking about working and collaborating together, then I'd be happy with that. But we've talked about so many crazy topics on Union of the Unwanted. Ready for you whenever you and Sam are able to rotate back in. Of course, we'll take you when we can get you. But how's doom scrolling?
So far, so good. We have doom scrolled so much, and the wheel of doom continues to spin. And we've been meaning to get on, like you and Ricky, and to rotate in like a third guest. It's just like scheduling it, and then Sam's schedule, mine. I would hate to book something and then it fall through. But just go back to like Union of the Unwanted real quick. Is that I remember we had those tech CEOs on. The guy who runs and owns Odyssey. I remember him
Jeremy
saying,
Kaufman.
Yeah, I remember him saying, something to the effect like, I don't believe anything like what you guys are talking about, but you're welcome on the platform. He's basically saying, I don't like you guys, but you can come post your videos, which I thought was very nice of him to kind of put it like that, or it was a very a gracious thing, very old school Gen X thing to say and do, and he was very diplomatic in how he responded to questions and dealt with some of the far out topics that we were talking about. So, but also during COVID, having some of the biggest scientists in the opposing view set on the show. We had Dr. Peter McCullough on. We had Malone. We had some significant heavyweights from universities coming in and debating during the hottest point of the pandemic. And we had a big Bigfoot show. And we had researchers talking about it's a primate, and then other people saying, no, this thing is paranormal. So many interesting discussions are had on that show. And yeah, I do miss sometimes just sitting back and listening, because that's what I excel at on that show. It's listening. So,
well, I watched the Speaking of Bigfoot and paranormal, I watched the David Paulides video. I listened to it on OBDM like 2 weeks or a week ago, or whenever you had it on there. But I didn't have a chance to watch it. But I watched it this morning, and I'm in.
It looks good. And he's released a few more trailers on it. I think so. They're premiering it in Seattle at the end of November. I think it'll be officially widely released December 1st of 2025. So I will buy it. Hopefully it'll be on Amazon or something like that. And just the teaser footage from that trailer is like, I haven't seen that footage before. I don't know where that footage come from. And you know, David Paulides being the kind of guy he is, I'm sure he's got connections into all the Bigfoot researchers that have these very interesting clips. So,
Folks, pay close attention.
He's going to want to promote that movie when it comes out. You know, this would be a great spot.
I reached out to him before, and he has ignored my request.
What are we doing?
I've several times. I have shaken his hand, shook his hand. I've shook his hand in public, in person at an event, but he didn't know who I was, you know. And I'm sure he gets inundated with requests online. I will try again, and maybe we'll have more luck this time. We will see. Then finally, I'll be able to ask him, "What do you mean by this?"
Oh, I hit the glory hole right here.
I mean, if this isn't his target demographic, I don't know what is.
Exactly.
I mean, my God, man. You want to make sure that everybody listening here immediately goes and watches that thing. Come on the show.
Yep. Well, let's get into some news. We'll get into some current events. Charlie, you're here. You have a political slant. You have a keen geopolitical mind. There's a lot of things going on in the world today. And specifically, I want to start things off with Charlie Kirk assassination conspiracy news. I'm not sure if you've heard this one. I will play it. I'll put it up on screen. I put the links. I sent you an email with all the links to the news so you guys can follow along over there. This one was played on the Jimmy Dore show. That's where I heard about it. And thank God Jimmy Dore played this. So for people who have already heard this, sorry, but I think this is relevant and very interesting because last we heard when it came to the, not the official narrative, but the conspiracies that I talked about, there were drones there. There were pretty significant speculations and I would say evidence of a second shooter, that there's obviously some sort of coordination. There's a lot of funny business going on there with the whole Charlie Kirk assassination. We're not being told any of this, the real interesting information, but
no. There were a lot of people getting the hit and run sign, you know, by people in the audience, and very fishy behavior, hand gestures, all that stuff. That in retrospect, once us lunatics get a hold of the footage and look at it from every different angle, start saying that guy doesn't look right. Why is he doing that? Why is he pulling on his ear or whatever he's doing? You know, so there's a lot of funny business.
Yeah, and I suspect that some people are just leaning into it, or they are disinfo agents meant to send people down rabbit holes that really don't matter at all. But what I like about this one, this is all about Google Analytics and searches. I'll play just a segment of this, and let me make sure you guys can hear all this audio. Let me boost compressed level, EQ, and add a little big bottom, and then the oral exciter so we all can hear this together. Thank you. And I'll bring it up on the screen. But it's like I said, it's about Google search trends, when they happened in relation to Charlie Kirk and his assassination. So this comes from James Lee. I think other people did this too, but I'll put this up on the screen. James Lee.
Let me ask you a question. When was the first time you heard the name Tyler Robinson or the Losi Center, a Mauser 98? For me, and I assume many of you, it was in the days and weeks after Charlie Kirk's tragic assassination on September 10th. And you better believe I've been doing some Googling since then, right? Who is Tyler? What are the access points to the Losi Center rooftop? What kind of damage can a 30-06 caliber bullet do? But what if I told you somebody, maybe multiple somebodies, were searching those terms before September 10th? What do you think about that?
Before the shooting. Well, there's Washington, D.C. at 11 a.m., the day before the Charlie Kirk shooting. And you'll see here where the news finally broke that it was, in fact, Tyler James Robinson. But notice that. That's weird. That's weird.
That is weird, I gotta say. Why would anybody be searching the name Tyler James Robinson one day before he allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk? The data point is just a tiny blip, but it's there. Tyler James Robinson, right? A name that nobody knew of prior to September 12th, 2 days after the shooting, when the media told us who Tyler James Robinson was, right? A supposed 22-year-old leftist who hated Charlie Kirk. So what does that little Google trend blip mean? Well, I did some research using Google Gemini, and they say Google Trends, what it does is normalize search interest to the region you select. The formula is search interest equals total searches in the region and time divided by total searches for the term. So when you look at things from a nationwide context, the total number of searches is enormous. The small handful of searches for Tyler James Robinson on September 9th is so tiny, a fraction of all the U.S. searches, that it gets rounded down to zero. But then when you zoom in a DC context, if you filter for the District of Columbia, the total search volume is much, much smaller. So if a few searches for Tyler James Robinson on September 9th originated in the DC area, then this handful of searches becomes a significant enough proportion of all DC searches on that day to register a value of 18 out of 100. Then it says, and this part is critical, quote, the fact that the searches are localized to DC, a city synonymous with the federal government, intelligence, national media, and political organizations, strongly shifts the interpretation away from random noise or perpetrator checking his own name, from an ambiguous anomaly into a strong potential signal of pre-event institutional knowledge or activity.
Over there. So, Charlie, have you heard this one yet?
Yes.
Yeah, and so yeah, if you just were searching the name, that would be that's a curious coincidence. But then there's one in DC. There's also one IP in Israel that just before the assassination, and then in the weeks leading up, just coincidentally, there were searches both in DC, I believe, in Israel, of the regional hospital, not the closest trauma center, but a regional hospital where they took Kirk's body to. So there was a Google search for that regional hospital in DC and in Israel before the assassination. And then in Israel, someone just coincidentally was Google searching each one of the surgeon's name at that regional hospital before the assassination. I believe in July, a couple weeks before. But meanwhile, no one in Utah was searching for those terms. So these were true anomalies, as you know, ascribed to those regions, DC and Israel. So what do you think, Charlie? This is pretty bizarre, don't you think?
Yeah, I did an episode about this, talking about how, look, I can't tell you the details of how it was done. I just can tell you who did it. It was Israel, okay? Through their channels, by way of deception, thou shalt do war, right? That is their Mossad's motto. So of course it'll be disinformation. Of course it'll be, pinned on somebody else and create a patsy. So it's an intelligence operation. I'm not that surprised that those searches lit up where they lit up. That's where you would expect them to show up. I'm a little surprised how sloppy they are.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't they use like a VPN and try to blame it on Russia or something like that? It's very sloppy.
Maybe suspiciously sloppy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's the culprit. I mean, that's who would be involved in it. Now, is it some lunatic who's off his meds and wrote a manifesto and all that? Yeah, but that's always what the official narrative is, and that's what the feds go with, and that's how they, you know, that's how they'll frame it. But we all know that you have to scratch, you know, beneath the surface just a little bit, and when you do, you'll find Israel's fingerprints all over all of this. This is not. It's not limited to. Look, if it was just an IP address or a search or something like that was pinging, it'd be one thing. But motive, opportunity, text conversations. In the hours leading up to this, a pivot away from supporting Israel, and we know there's no moral line that they won't cross.
Sure,
I mean, so everything is pointed to. Now, again, is that enough to find them guilty in a court of law? No, but this is how these things unfold. It will be revealed at some point. Everyone will come to the conclusion, oh yeah. Well, first of all, the official story doesn't make much sense. Oh yeah, maybe that's not true. Okay, so who benefits? Cui bono, right? Certainly not the trans community.
Certainly not.
Demonized and getting dragged into this. Like, that was the funniest part for me. The funny part was watching the media try to, like, create narratives that don't exist. They're talking about the trans shooter at the Charlie Kirk thing. I'm like, this guy was trans? Wasn't he supposed to be, like, in a relationship with somebody who's transitioning? Or is it like a vampire? Does he get bit and then he's infected and then he's trans too? Because the way the media was spinning it, it was like it had to do with transgenderism or something. And I was like,
well, that really whips people up. And and it's not to say that he wasn't involved. Much like it's not to say that Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't involved in some way, but what exact role did they play? And so at this point, Tyler James Robinson, and I don't even like using both, all three of his names, but
well, you have to if he's a killer.
I guess so. It is required. There's enough evidence right now to cause reasonable doubt, or there's enough evidence out there right now to where his life is truly in danger, and that this cannot make it to trial because he would be able to call this into evidence that somebody else had foreknowledge, and that whoever had this foreknowledge may have manipulated him. And it's going to create such a stink that they cannot allow this to this evidence, this information to be publicly disclosed at trial. So something has to happen. Like, they got to wipe this. And that's, at this point, don't you believe Kash Patel and Dan Bongino know about this? I would imagine.
Yeah. My fear is they make an example of this kid, like a la Nicholas Cruz, some lunatic who gets this pinned on, shooting pinned on him, or the Boston bombing, Zarka brothers, the guys they wind up on the cover of Rolling Stone. Then one guy gets run over and beaten. I mean, it's just the whole thing. Yeah, they'll eventually whack these guys.
Yeah.
You either put them away, put them in a psych ward forever, put them in a prison cell forever, or if there's a calculation made in advance of that this person is maybe maybe not going to be found guilty, then you just kill him, make it look like he killed himself, or have his cellmate kill him, or whatever.
Yeah, it's a very disturbing new piece of evidence, and it looks like a crowdsourced the truth. The guy who was working with I Am John Cullen, he has gotten his hand on some 8K footage, which he is evaluating right now. It is just a cluster F of information, and no official word really about all this information, whether it's the drones or what other people found with the angle of the shooting. They're just ignoring all of it. Kind of like, 9/11 and Tower 7. They created a secret model that NITS put together, and they refused to release that model because it could jeopardize national security, even though they they hang their hat on that entire thing for science. But wow, it's just crazy.
Once you learn how to decipher their code, and then you go back and look at some of these things in the past, it's really kind of funny, because that is what NIST did. Is they said, oh, it's like national security, and you're like, I know what that means. That means that your model is horseshit, and that if we examine it, we will see that it is horseshit. And you've used the one tactic that you can use, which is national security, to deflect and not prevent, to prevent people from taking a look at it. Then Richard Gage goes and partners up with the University of Fairbanks, Alaska, does a 4-year study on Building 7, and their findings are quite different than what NIST found.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's all I got on the Charlie Kirk thing. Just that little tidbit there. But go check out Macroaggressions. If you said you did a whole big rundown on this, and I'm sure you probably came to the same conclusions as Jimmy Dore.
There's fuckery afoot. Yeah. If you want to just, we could leave it at that and say that there are a lot of vested interests in this. There's a lot of fingerprints all over it. And, I didn't like the aftermath of it. I haven't really gotten into too much about that, but just the optics of the aftermath, where the funeral looked like it was WrestleMania. Yeah. And it was all very, I don't know, it felt like the Republican National Convention had kind of, I don't know. It was like he was inorganic, inauthentic, not how you would act, not how you would behave if you were having an actual funeral. If it was, they should just call it, I guess something.
It was a propaganda rally. And is it beyond the pale for Trump to say, hey, Trump, you're going to be able to accomplish so much if we take out your buddy Charlie? Huh. Now, they probably wouldn't tell the president that, but people around him might sign off on such an operation to get this done if it politically is advantageous for them to do what they got to do, to really move the needle, to get public support on their side. I wouldn't put it past them. They got an agenda that they want to do, and there's not a lot. They got some real big technocrats around Trump that want to implement their agenda. And using this assassination, you can get a lot of things done. You could have it the Charlie Kirk digital ID amendment, where in order to prevent future assassinations, everyone's got to have a digital ID. So a lot of things you can get done.
Bill Clinton did this with Commerce Secretary Ron Brown, ordered his murder, then went to his funeral and got caught smirking on camera as he was walking away from it. If you remember that footage of psychopath rapist Bill Clinton, former president, and Epstein, confidant, co-creator of Clinton Global Initiative with Jeffrey Epstein.
You get the picture.
It happens. Let's move on. Let's go do some topical stuff, some more politics, and see what you got to say about these protests that are happening today all across the country. People are upset about kings, and they're not being kings, or that there shouldn't be kings. We're going to find out right now. And this comes from the Today Show, I believe. So this is the Today Show about the No Kings protest that is happening all across the country today.
Demonstrations across the country expected in the streets today as protesters sound off about President Trump and the policies of his administration. Organizers of the so-called No Kings rallies say they expect gatherings in more than 2,500 communities. NBC's Adrian Broaddus is in Chicago this morning, where police are already preparing for what could be a big protest there. Adrian, good morning.
Hey there, Laura. Good morning to you. And the No King rally here in Chicago comes less than 24 hours after President Trump asked the Supreme Court to immediately allow the deployment of the National Guard here in Illinois. He says, in part, it is to help protect federal agents who are carrying out those immigration enforcement operations. Here in Chicago, it's been dubbed Operation Midway Blitz. And this comes after a ruling earlier in the week when Chicago-based Court of Appeals ruled against the administration, upholding an earlier decision that blocked the effort. The three-judge panel, including one Trump-appointed judge, wrote, quote, political opposition is not rebellion. Governor Pritzker responding on X, saying in part he'll continue to defend the sovereignty of his state. Now, all of this is happening as people are expected to march through the streets of Chicago, rain or shine today. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson called it a planned America rally. But organizers who spoke with me say this is their way to protest what they call government overreach. Take a listen.
ICE is occupying our city. They are attacking our neighbors with tear gas. They are indiscriminately snatching people from streets and businesses and homes. And we are coming together on No King's Day to say, no, this is not the city we want to live in.
We don't know what's happening.
And thousands are expected to participate in the rallies across the country, with one organizer saying the number of people signed up is more than double of what they saw in June. Laura?
All right, Adrian
This is
brought us
great.
to Chicago. Thank you, Adrian.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show.
Oh, wow. This Al Roker. He looks horrible. Well, there you go. No kings all across the country, Charlie. All across the country. People are protesting. No kings. They don't want it. No more kings. And it's all organic and it's all happening. Unless it isn't all organic, which it turns out that the No King protests are being funded by foundations run by George Soros, according to ABC6. So, not completely organic, but yeah, it's happening. This certainly seems to be a nice strategy of tension that the ruling elites of this planet have put on us.
That is what it is, for sure. But if we actually had kings, do you think they would allow protests to be scheduled in advance and happen on a Saturday afternoon all across the country? Or do you think that that would be the sort of thing that maybe kings would put an end to, you know? So since you are allowed to have your little protests, you're, I guess, proving that there aren't actually kings out there. You look ridiculous. You're not wearing deodorant. None of them are. It's a problem, of course. They're heavily addicted to vaccines. They're making crazy decisions out there. Some of them are getting naked in Portland. I don't know if you saw that. That was not for No Kings. That was no clothes, apparently, or something last weekend.
That was the nude protest, which I'm not really against unless, there's children
I'm against
present.
them getting naked.
Yeah.
I mean, if I get to pick the participants.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but we don't get that option. Basically, we got to take what we get, and it's typically, like you said, less than in shape people not wearing.
I don't want
deodorant.
Fatties in recumbent bikes that are naked. Wet.
Yeah, up on screen right here. This is an image of the Portland protest where they're roller skating around in circles outside an ICE facility, and one person has like an M&M costume. It looks very Halloween-esque. They're breaking out their costumes and roller skates. It looks like they're having a good time. Now, I would say this is a good form of peaceful protest, but this is not what we have been seeing for like the past, I would say, 4 weeks leading up to this. It was much more violent, and whoever has been giving the orders to these protesters have basically instructed them to not engage, at least overtly, with ICE or the police because it's bad optics. What we're seeing right here, fairly good optics when it comes to this. So,
yeah. Well, this is the problem that the Antifa types. Now, there's one thing. If you want to get out there and protest and do all of this, look, it's your right to do that. I would strongly caution you against getting yourself identified.
Yeah.
You know, you're going out there with a cell phone in your pocket that's pinging like crazy. You're driving there in your car, and your license plates are getting picked up on flock cameras and getting stored. You've got Reaper drones circling above these protests, picking up facial recognition, tagging everybody's phones, doing all this stuff. You are voluntarily walking into a trap. You're adding yourself to a list, and for what? You know, because and this has been my problem with the with the Trump side, the MAGA side, who are cheerleading the Antifa is a domestic terrorist group sort of designation. This is a slippery slope. Now, no matter how much you would like to do that, and of course, if you look at them, you say they are doing terroristic things domestically, they would qualify for that. But you never want to get the government involved in classifying and labeling people, because it used to be that just you get into a disagreement with somebody and you call them a terrorist. But now, after the Patriot Act and what we've been through, it's more of a legal term. And you could legally define somebody as being a domestic terrorist in America, which means you're in the homeland operating on the battlefield. And now all of a sudden, because of these legal designations of these words, your rights have just gone right out the window. So you do this for Antifa because they're awful and they deserve it and they're, you know, embarrassing themselves. And you'd love for somebody to go in there and crack some skulls and teach them a lesson and all that stuff, right? You fantasize about that. All of that stuff will later be used against you. Yes. And your team and guy, you know, by the other side, because if you think the leftists will take this power and not use it, you haven't been paying attention. This is very dangerous for people to grant the authority to any of these state institutions, be it ICE or the police, to come in here and because you're problem reaction solutioning yourself right into an authoritarian police state under the guise of getting Antifa back because they deserve it. Of course they deserve it, but you can't fall into the trap. It's set up to get you to just we're going to lose more and more rights, and it's a very slippery slope.
Well, then, okay, so what is the solution? Like Trump, he wants to use ICE to deport people who are here illegally or have been denied asylum. You have the governors in apparent opposition to that federal law and their ability to execute that. And you have local police that are apparently unwilling to assist in that. So what is the resolution to get us past this imminent authoritarian takeover?
Well, I think that the optics of it are really bad when you're when you're just randomly grabbing people off the street and they're like, I've been here 20 years, you know, are they illegal? Yes. Could you deport them? Yes. There's not a huge appetite for that.
I would agree.
Even from like the conservative right, who they want you to prioritize are the ones who just got here, are given cell phones, are being orchestrated in, are military-age fighting men. They don't want you going after some lady who's been here for 30 years and speaks English and isn't a problem like that. When they do that, it makes everything, you know, it just stains the whole thing. I don't like the state getting involved in any of this stuff, but the truth of the matter is that they're now trying to fix, air quotes, fix a problem that they created with the Biden administration. They opened the side door and let everybody in. And then we throw our hands up and go, oh, I can't believe all these people are in here causing problems. Well, they've been let in to cause problems, the whole purpose of it. So then you've got the state allowed it. And what's the solution? The state gets to remove them. Well, whenever the state is in charge of moving large groups of people from point A to point B, that's a euphemism for depopulation, just so you know. That's resettled in the East or getting on the trains and, you know, in that's a code name for something. They don't ever get to where they're going.
Like I have sympathies for families that have been here, people that have been here for like 20 years. And I think Trump and whoever he hired to put together these policies, I said this, I think last year, like it really depends on how he goes about doing this, and perception is the key to how people respond to it. And if he would have sent out like a memo to the entire nation, a nationwide memo saying, hey, if you've been here for X number of years, register, and we will hire additional State Department people to evaluate your situation. You might have to pay a fine, a substantial fine, and go through X, Y, and Z to become an official citizen. But we will at least evaluate that request. It might be denied, but we'll give everyone a fair shake as long as you meet certain criteria. But it wasn't handled like that. And it was basically a hard hammer down. And, yeah, bad optics because, well, the media really doesn't care for what he is doing. And there's no way he can win that propaganda war. So it's only going to create more tension. It's going to give more ammo to the No Kings protesters. And we're inevitably going to have some sort of civil conflict based upon propaganda that may or may not be true. Most likely it won't be.
Here's the irony is that Obama deported far more people than Donald Trump has.
Yeah.
Far more.
Yeah, he kidnapped him. Remember, he kidnapped him.
People are so angry about the deportations. I get it. They're mad about the manner of it, the terror tactics, and the Gestapo-ish nature of it all. I get that, and it's disgusting and gross. And I'm in agreement with them on very few things, but I'm in agreement with them on that too. I don't like the look of any of that. But man, it's
almost like we're in a damned if we do, damned if we don't situation.
Yeah.
There's basically almost an unwinnable scenario for the constitutional republic at this point. It does. I mean, it appears that way because the problems are so immense that we have. They will, I would say, justify the decisions. Like it is going to, in order to fix all these problems, it is going to require dictatorial powers. Whatever side that gets into, it's like we have so many problems. It's going to require dictatorial powers. We have to be able to move quickly and swiftly, much like the way China does with top-down policies that can be enacted very quickly within 24 hours, that we don't have time for congressional back and forth or Senate approval or Senate oversight. We don't have time for that because our problems are so monumental. And they'll justify it like that. And boom, it is authoritarian. And we're never going back unless there is some miraculously, somehow we recover from all this bullshit, which I don't know. So,
next thing you know, you're granting temporary powers to Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't give those up willingly. You know, it required Luke Skywalker to really do some damage. But we don't have Luke Skywalker here. The best we have, who do we got? Who's our Luke Skywalker? I don't think
Schroyer.
Owen Schroyer. I don't think we can call Owen. He would love to be called Luke Skywalker. I don't think we can.
Look at the size of that thing.
It used to be Trump, or not Trump, but Alex Jones could have been Luke Skywalker. I think he's now more of a Lando Calrissian, more willing to deal with the Imperials in order to function as just a mining operator. So it used to be Alex Jones, but he's more Lando right now. We need a Luke. Who's our Luke?
What?
Put your comments in the chat. Tell us who the next Luke Skywalker is. I'd really want to know, so I have a good Photoshop.
Make it with AI in visual form, and then send it.
You guys can. In fact, if you're in the Discord, which people can join by getting in the Patreon for $1 a month. Gretchen would be normally putting up animated GIFs during the show, but I have put up the Discord so people who have access to the OBDM episode chat can post things to the live screen, the live show. So post your AI image, nothing that's going to get us kicked off of anything in the live chat, people. So they're on screen. So Herman, post us up an AI image of Luke Skywalker and who that new person is to save the Republic here. Thank you. We're going to move on. I have a clip that from Sam Harris. People love Sam Harris.
Those people are retarded.
I don't know how Sam Harris remains popular.
He went to the Lex Friedman School of Charm. Those two guys are the worst and super boring. And why anybody would watch them if they weren't, nodding out maybe in the midst of a fentanyl overdose, possibly the only explanation I'm willing to take. Scott Horton said he went on and did 11 hours with Lex Friedman. I was like, how?
Would they cut it down to 13 minutes? I mean, and funny enough, since they cut the budget to USAID and did all the financial shenanigans, I haven't been recommended Lex Friedman clips at all.
Well, what's funny, Mike? I just got my YouTube channel back. By the way, my Macroaggressions YouTube channel for anybody who's on YouTube. I'm having it slowly repopulated by Matt Raymer over at Content Safe. So
you're back.
I'm back. I'm
nice.
bringing it back. But what's funny is that now, because I have that account open, my suggested videos are all from 4 years ago. And so I'm getting Joe Rogan clips, and I'm getting Shane Smith from Vice. I'm getting a lot of Vice stuff. So it's all set up to whatever the algo was, or I don't know, my viewing preferences. I mean, I did watch that stuff, but I don't really remember watching this version of Shane Smith. But so it was kind of funny to get turned back. I was like, oh man, I'm hardly watching any of that stuff now.
I'm back.
Check it out. He's Macroaggressions on YouTube, and
I make no representations about how long this is going to last. And we've got it's going to be over the next couple of weeks or months of Matt repopulating it, doing it slowly. Ricky got his back. Sam got his back.
James Colbert, I should say.
Yeah, James got his back.
And it looks like there's even Alex Jones, I think, for at least 24 hours got his channel back, and then it got taken away again.
Exactly.
So someone I asked for who's the next Luke Skywalker to save the Republic, and it looks like RS Harmful posted an AI version of Jeff Goldblum without a shirt. So I don't know. I do appreciate that. I don't know if that's the Luke Skywalker we're looking for.
Yes.
It might be the Luke Skywalker that we need.
It may be. I will take that. I'll take a shirtless Goldblum any day of the week out here to fix this country. All right.
Or Jeff Goldberg. Too.
Yeah. Or Jeff Goldberg, Jeff Goldblum. Don't care. Give them to us all.
It's Jeff Goldberg.
But here's Sam Harris talking about the First Amendment. Okay, here we go. Sam Harris on the First Amendment. I'll bring him up on screen here in a second.
So I'm very happy we have the First Amendment and any infringement. But to infringe on the First Amendment is a very specific thing. It's the government coming and saying, you can't say that thing, or we're going to put you in jail if you say that thing again. We're going to destroy your livelihood. We're going to debank you, whatever we're going to, and there's certainly some concern that the Trump administration is showing that kind of inclination.
And the Biden administration, too.
Right. But all the people who complain about it with Biden are now sort of, capitulating to it with Trump. And Trump is 100 times, what Trump has already done is 100 times worse than anything Biden did. I mean, Biden never had his AG stand up and say, we're going to destroy you. It's illegal to criticize the president. It's effectively what Pam Bondi said in the Jimmy Kimmel moment. We're going to come after you, right? That we're in a different universe from where we were with Biden, just saying, we please take the naked photos of my son off of Twitter. They
also went to Google and said, we don't want you to say this. And, they went.
Right. But they never said, we're going to destroy you. This is illegal. We're going to,
they just did it.
You might not be able to get back into the country. I mean, literally, we have a president who, when Bruce Springsteen is overseas and says something critical of him, he literally in public will say, well, let's see what happens to Bruce when he comes back to America. I mean, we're in a different world here with what Trump is doing.
There's Sam Harris. He's very
Joe
concerned.
Biden threatened a winter of death.
Yeah.
Tried to have OSHA get everybody fired. What is this guy talking about?
The whole reason why the Union of the Unwanted formed is because we were being censored on YouTube and platforms for daring to talk about COVID and speculate about the origins of the virus, which came out later was a directive from the Biden administration and the Trump administration, to be fair, but probably unbeknownst to him because he doesn't know what's going on, about misinformation that really wasn't misinformation. And this is all detailed in the SPARS wargaming that came out in 2019. Like, this is a concerted censorship effort that was carried on through Trump, but really took up a notch by Biden that Sam Harris just doesn't even want to talk about.
COVID.
He's so intellectually dishonest. You can't listen to a Sam Harris conversation without, I mean, I want to pull my hair out.
Yeah,
that's how bad it is, just listening to the guy. This is a continuation of a policy that's been going on for a long time. All right. I mean, the idea that it's red team versus blue team, this is so much bigger than that. This is the censorship of all of us. I mean, it started in 2016 with the Disinformation 200. Activist Post was on that list. Zero Hedge was on that list. WikiLeaks was on that list. They kicked you off of the Google AdSense network, cut off a revenue stream that a lot of content creators depended on, and they throttled your reach, and they set the algorithms against you. That is a fact. That isn't, I mean, and it's frustrating because you try to tiptoe through the landmine, the minefield there. It's constantly changing rules.
Yeah.
You don't even know what to do. So when Matt Raymer and I are coordinating about putting my episodes back up, he's running it through this filter and he's showing me the results of it, of what my video looks like to them, to the back end of them. And he's showing me all the violations and where and what words I said and it is fascinating.
Wow.
And it's also measurably happening. And he knows because his computer is looking at it and is showing all the flags. And so what we've got is a solution for that where I'm getting words muted. Matt's muting words. We're having to do that, and then it drops that ranking. It drops all that stuff off. And so we're trying to play this game. And you can... Because my thoughts on this is that the information is the most important thing, and you got to get it out there to as many people. And there's still a lot of people on YouTube that just assume you died 4 years ago.
Of course.
They don't know where you went. And then your videos will pop up and they'll go, oh, hey, man, you're still doing this? So, we've got to be strategic about this. And so we got to put it out where the eyeballs are. And so Matt has to doctor the videos, which feels gross. But the alternative is what? Just say, no, F it. I'm going to go put it up there and then watch it get taken down again and watch the whole channel get taken down. So we're trying to figure out how we can kind of, manipulate the system a little bit here.
It is a delicate balancing act. And this is the reason why OBDM wasn't posting on YouTube for years, because anything that could have been salacious or controversial, and it's like you said, it was a guessing game what is going to be controversial at that moment. And it may not be controversial at that moment, but a year or 2 year old video could then create a violation, even though it wasn't relevant at the time. It is now. And it's nearly impossible as an individual for you to keep track of the content that you did 2 years ago. And so we're trying to adhere to these invisible rules. And I get it. People can say, well, just don't be on those platforms. Easier said than done when you're trying to grow a podcast and you do not have a name. And it is incredibly difficult to do unless you are extremely niche in your content and you automatically play it safe, which by the nature of talking about current events, very difficult to do unless you are party aligned. And I don't consider myself to be terribly party aligned, and you certainly are not. So it's tough. But here we are talking about Sam Harris.
Okay. My video was getting medical misinformation flagged from my live ad reads of my sponsors.
Do you remember what the sponsor was?
Chemical Free Body.
Oh, yeah, Chemical Free, but with Tim James.
Carbon.
Yeah. He sells supplements, for crying out loud.
They're so dishonest.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, let's. I just want to bring up some weird. These are just some quick hits on the what's going on around the world, and this episode certainly is a little bit more political than most people, but I did that on purpose. Okay, and these are just some quick hits. We're not going to get political with this one, but I want people to be aware of this. Headline: Wetware scientists use human mini brains to power computers. Yes, and this comes from the AP. This is just a quick one here, people. Inside a lab in a Swiss town, a scientist gives tiny clumps of human brain cells the nutrient-rich fluid it needs to stay alive. It is vital. These mini brains remain healthy because they are serving as rudimentary computer processors, and unlike your laptop, once they die, they cannot be rebooted. This new field of research called biocomputing, or Wetware, aims to harness evolutionary honed yet still mysterious computing power of the human brain. And I'll post this in the podcast description for the audio only people. If you want to, it's like a 15-minute long video of these people using human brains as computer processors, and they're using it. They're hooking up to AI to do all these computations, and they ask about the ethics of doing this. And I'm not sure that this guy has a real good response. So you can check this out. This is something that they've been talking about and or doing for quite a while. And so we're just one step away from just creating cyborgs at this point.
These computers, I tell you, they just get crazier and crazier.
I don't want my mind mining Bitcoin while I'm trying to sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm good.
And
I don't need that.
What are the ethics of and the morals of creating human brains that function? And how conscious are they? I know they're going to claim they're not conscious. They have to claim that, because as soon as there's one shred of consciousness, this becomes completely unethical and completely immoral. But now it's as soon because they can claim it's not conscious, there's this gray zone that they are going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and then it also they're going to have to discover when does consciousness arise and when does the soul inhabit the consciousness, or does it not? So maybe I'll dig into that brain computer interface, or that mini brains in the next episode. But here's another headline here that I want people to really be aware of. Okay, this one's very important. And up on the screen right here, Starshield, classified network of SpaceX satellites emitting mysterious signal. Yeah, a constellation of classified defense satellites built by the commercial company SpaceX is emitting mysterious signals that may violate international standards, NPR has learned. The satellites associated with Starshield satellite network appears to be transmitting to Earth's surface on frequencies normally used for doing the exact opposite, sending commands from Earth to satellites in space. The use of those frequencies to downlink data runs counter to standards set by the International Telecommunications Union. So it looks like these satellites are sending commands down when they should only be receiving commands. That's interesting. What are they sending commands to? It says it's unclear what the satellite constellation is up to. Starlink, SpaceX public satellite internet network, operates at much higher frequencies to enable transmission of broadband data. Starshield, by contrast, is using much lower frequency range that could probably only allow for transmission of data at rates close to a 3G cell tower. Telly believes the decision to downlink or send these commands down in a band typically reserved for uplink data could be designed to hide Starshield operations. The frequent shift in specific frequencies used to prevent outsider from hiding the signal or from discovering the hidden signal. And we covered years ago that these Starlink satellites they're rented out by like the the NRO, various other Pentagon offices, and they will commandeer at least sections of these satellites for use for spying, transmitting between each other, sending data from one place to another, and we have a blanket of satellites up there tracking us, and then sending signals down here for some clandestine reason. So,
what could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. It sounds fine to me.
Can they start fires?
They would probably say no, but I would say yes.
Okay.
Or I'll just say okay.
Say okay.
And
Al Gore should know if he's the climate guy.
Yeah.
We need to obey the first law of holes.
Maybe we can dig that hole with a space
There is
laser.
no first law of holes. That's the conundrum.
Well, here's another headline for you, Charlie. Trump authorizes covert CIA operations in Venezuela. This comes from the CBC. Yes, U.S. President Donald Trump has confirmed on Wednesday that he has authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations in Venezuela, marking a sharp escalation in U.S. efforts to pressure the president, Nicolas Maduro, and his government. So the New York Times first reported this classified directive citing U.S. officials familiar with the decision. So the CIA is doing what it does best, with is trying to rabble-rouse and overthrow South American and Central American governments.
Huh. You know what I've learned is that covert operations work way better when you keep them secret.
Yeah, when you don't announce them. Yes.
Usually that's a better path. But, the last time the U.S. tried that in Venezuela, they wound up with a bunch of their guys on a dock, hogtied.
Yeah.
And they stopped a little bit of the makings of some sort of coup. We've already got the Juan Guaido, if you remember that. I mean, that dude got memeified immediately. I think that's how you deal with these people. You disarm them, take away their power by mocking them and turning them into a joke. Because Juan Guaido was like, hey, I'm like the new guy here in Venezuela. Everyone's like, are you out of your fucking mind? You look like you're from like Tarzana. Like, you're not... What are you talking about? And he's like, no, I'm for real. I'm the new president of Venezuela. You guys have to take me seriously. And everyone was like, this isn't working. So Trump now, second time around, he's going to start a war with Venezuela?
Yeah.
In order to distract from something? Is this about their oil? Of course it's about their oil.
I suspect. So when it comes to this headline, Trump authorizes covert CIA operations. They were already doing these operations, and this is an authorization after the fact.
Right.
And so this isn't like they were already doing this for years.
I'm sure.
And this is like an after a fact, retroactively absolving them of any sort of non-presidential directive. They were just doing this on their own. And they basically said either Trump got word of this, or they said, we're already doing this. Just sign off on this and it's all good. And Trump probably said, let's do it.
And it's bad news. Bad things are happening.
We're blowing up boats. And to be honest, if you had to pick a war, it probably, if you had to, it's probably better to go to war with Venezuela than Iran. I'm guessing.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, if you had to pick one.
If you had to pick one. Yeah, if you had to pick one. Well, I was listening to a podcast that Alex Cranier was on from The Naked Hedgie. We've had him on, I know Ricky's had him on his show. I've had him on Macroaggressions, and I believe we've had him on Union of the Unwanted. He's a hedge fund guy out of Monaco, super smart, hardcore geopolitical background. And he was talking about, he's saying that during that week where Iran and Israel were going back and forth with these missile barrages that were getting a little bit more and more intense as the week went on, he said that the Israelis got hit by an Iranian missile. I think he said it blew up 28 buildings.
Holy moly. That's a big missile.
One missile did?
Wow.
Yeah. And that the Israelis took one look at that and went like, we don't want any of that. Yeah. So I guess to answer your question, yeah, you'd probably rather have Venezuela over Iran if they can do something like that. obviously, like, why do we have to? Why do we have to?
Why do we have to pick?
War with anybody? What are we doing? This is so fucking crazy.
But it's this is what the CIA does. The Pentagon, they want war, and so you have to appease them. It appears you have to appease the Pentagon and the intelligence agencies in order for you to address your domestic agenda. At least I'm talking about Trump. So I suspect he made some sort of deal. It's like, listen, I want to do this immigration stuff. And they said, fine, but they said, we want to blow stuff up. So what do you want us to do? Like Venezuela or Iran or China or Russia? You pick. There you go. Let us blow that stuff up, and then we won't oppose you on your domestic agenda. So he's like, fine, Venezuela.
Let's talk to the Venezuelans back channel style and say, tell us a good place to bomb. And then get all your people out of there. And then we'll bomb the shit out of it and pretend like we've done something great. And then you guys put out a clip where, you're, how dare you killed all of our generals, and shake your fist, and then we're good.
Yeah.
And it only makes common sense.
Yeah. Just a few more headlines here. I'm going to move on to some weird stuff, and then we will open up the phone lines for an extended period, people. We haven't talked to people in a while. I will be opening up the phone lines here in about 10, 15 minutes. Just a headline here, New Zealand. Just a headline, secret notes related to Five Eyes countries, preparation for war with China. So I guess that got leaked. The Five Eyes are getting ready for some sort of conflict with China. And then another headline here, even top generals in the U.S. are using AI chatbots for answers. So it looks like we have generals, Western generals, using the chatbots for not only loneliness, but for strategic advice, I guess.
Great. So you can figure out what some dipshit in 2016 thought in a Reddit chat room.
Yeah. Well, they may have some good strategic plans in Reddit. Here it is. This comes from Business Insider. Even top generals are looking to AI chatbots for answers. It's not just civilian corporate executives and white-collar workers who are leaning into generative AI. Military leaders are diving into. The top U.S. Army commander in South Korea shared that he is experimenting with generative AI to sharpen his decision-making, not in the field, but in command and daily work. He said, Chat and I have become really close lately. I'm trying to build models to help all of us, said Major General William Hank Taylor, commanding general of the 8th Army. As a commander, I want to make better decisions, the general shared. I want to make sure I make decisions at the right time to give me advantages. I would say that he's probably downplaying how much he loves and uses this thing. And just be honest, if you're using it for absolute troop deployments, strategy, if he's in South Korea, is he using this for any sort of deployment in reference to North Korea? And because these chatbots, and specifically AI in general, really good at recognizing patterns, probably military history. It might be useful, but like I said, it might only get it right 70% of the time. And the more you use this stuff, the dumber it makes you. It's just the way it is. So
we've also got Palantir using their version of AI in programs like Lavender to give social credit scores to buildings and to sites and sort of rank them in terms of what is a threat target matrix. And I don't know what their criteria is for it. And in Gaza, clearly the bar was set rather low. If anything's breathing, bomb it, I suppose. But the theory behind it was that you were going to prioritize high-ranking assets, be those high-rise buildings or water treatment facilities or power grids or, bus stations or whatever. So.
Okay. That infrastructure. Real high. Walmart probably just below that, and then
unless you turn the setting to Operation Gladio strategy of tension.
Sure.
And then bombing Walmart moves up higher in the ranking than blowing up a runway of some airport that nobody's going to use. But blowing up a Walmart in Topeka, Kansas sends a message that this could happen anywhere. So if that's what you're trying to accomplish, and if it's so, I suppose it's technology, right? It depends whose hands it's in. Unfortunately, the people behind Palantir don't exactly give you warm feelings. You've got dead-eyed psychopath, transhumanist, homosexual men with no children trying to tell you how they want the future to be.
Obsessed with the Antichrist as well.
Obsessed with the Antichrist. And recently South Parkerized, which was fucking great.
I didn't watch it, but I heard about it.
They made him very, very sketchy looking, which he is.
He already is sketchy looking.
They made him even more. They made him. It's hard to describe somebody as sweaty in cartoon form, but they made him sweaty, which was great. Just brilliant.
I'm definitely going to check that out. All right, let's do some. We'll do some weird stuff, and then I'll open up the phone lines here in a second. I do have a clip from Brandon Biggs. This is a prediction from, I would say, a Christian clairvoyant. So this is the guy who got really famous on Twitter and online for doing the Trump prediction that Trump would face some sort of assassination attempt. Even got the detail down of a bullet whizzing past his head and got all these different little tidbits right. So Brandon's back, and he's got a new prediction about aliens and the alien mothership that may be flying overhead sometime in the near future. So let's take a listen and see if we can learn all about this. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get this up here.
Saw these major alien ship, and it flies over the Vatican, and it goes over the Mayan temples down in Mexico. And I said, Lord, is there two of these? Because I keep praying about this. And he said, no, it's just one. And that's what's going to make everybody freak out, because they're going to see it moving across the ocean. You understand? It's going to be something that's going to be on TV. It's going to move across the ocean, and people are going to freak out in the days ahead. Then I saw little bitty ships coming out of this mothership that were balls of light, and it wasn't a real ship. It was demonic looking light that was traveling around causing confusion in our skies. You say, Brandon, that sounds way out there. Yeah, it is. It was way out there to me. I didn't even want to talk about it, but I'm instructed to. You say, well, Brandon, that sounds like you're on something. Well, no, folks, I'm just here to warn you. I'm just here to warn you. And as wild out there as a sound, fearful sights you will see that will bring you to your knee. I'm here to warn you. The enemy is not playing fair with trying to deceive people with what's coming. He's going to throw all the curveballs he can to try to deceive the nations. When the Antichrist steps on the scene and he says, hey, we have a solution for all the problems in the days ahead. I have peace. I'm going to bring peace. I'm going to bring in prosperity. I'm going to do all this. But all you have to do is bow your knee to me on Fridays. And you're going to have to get a chip. You're going to have to do all these things. But it's going to be a solution, because we're going to take care of all this with AI.
Let's do it.
There you go. There's his prediction that an alien mothership will fly over the Vatican, over the ocean, will drop orbs or balls of light. No date on this, which is unfortunate. No date. But, okay. Well, something to keep an eye out for.
I saw that earlier this week, and I thought about Carol Rawson, of course, and Werner von Braun, and The Final Trick, the fake alien invasion, of course. So, is this predictive programming? Is this some lunatic? I mean, I guess we'll. How long do we have?
He didn't say. He did say.
I'm gonna need an expiration date on this prediction, though. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like, I'm willing to take it. It sounds crazy, but crazier things. Well, maybe not crazier things, but it's a season of crazy things. We're in a fourth turning. We're in end of empire. Anything's liable to happen. As these lunatics feel their power slipping away, they might try some last ditch effort to manipulate people to whatever.
It would galvanize the masses. It would. It would definitely cause people to stop what they're doing and maybe reconsider their position as a human, as opposed to any sort of particular race or nationality. It would definitely give pause, and it would force the governments of the world to acknowledge something. So I'm open to this, and I'm open to the demonic nature that they are proposing here. But it really does help to have a timeline, because you can. This prediction of an alien invasion has been made for a long time, but at least he did give specifics of it being over the Vatican, which is an interesting tidbit right there. But we'll see. But I'm going to open up the phone lines right now, and we are going to get to everyone's calls.
Now let's go ahead and take the phone calls.
Actually, I got to do this first. Boom. The number is 513-461-2175. 51. Oh my God, we already have a caller right here. Caller, you are on the air.
Yes.
Gentlemen.
Hello.
Jeff from Denver here. Breaker.
Hey, how you doing?
Me? I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing very well. What is on your mind, Breaker?
Well, Charlie told me I should call in and say hey.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey.
Say hey yo.
Yeah.
Hey yo.
Hey yo. Thank you.
Well, I had a couple of quick things. I've been meaning to call in for a while, talking about a story I had this past summer. I was working an event down by the sand dunes in Colorado here. You're familiar with the story of Snippy, right? Snippy the horse?
Maybe not. Refresh our memory.
The original cattle mutilation. I'm going to send you the event links. I think you'd be fascinated by it. But some of the speakers, it was a small little UFO event, but it was Freddie Silva, Dr. Robert Schock, friend of the show, Trey Hudson. Do you know this dude, Mike Cleland? He does like the owl and the mystical tie-in at all? Have you ever heard of this guy?
Maybe I have. Did he write a book on the owls and how people who see alien graves might actually like that? There's an owl correlation there where there's a screen memory.
Screen memory, exactly. Yeah. And but I like his work a lot. But anyway, the one of the reasons I'm calling is kind of related to this duo, the Navajo Paranormal Rangers. And funny enough, one of the guys, I saw him in that David Paulides trailer you showed a few weeks back. He was one of the interviews in that film. And they had a fascinating presentation on sort of like the Skinwalker stuff. And it was during this presentation that kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I'm trying to keep this brief. Like because I do AV for my job, and specifically for events, and so I'm sitting back there at my mixer on like a pretty hardcore camping chair, and all of a sudden they get to this point in the presentation where my entire chair just absolutely rips in the middle of like this quiet room. Like I fall through my chair in the back, and they were talking about how these these entities are kind of attacking the certain people, and one of them had to like go and do a whole cleansing ritual before getting on stage. And I'm like thinking, okay, whatever. These guys are just like have their shtick here for, the presentation. But, I was proven wrong pretty quickly. But after the presentation, one of the homies comes over and like takes a picture of the chair. Like he was pretty blown away by it. 'Cause like their whole presentation was just about like how, hey man, like this weird shit happens to us all the time. We're these Navajo guys, and, that I'm going to send you some of these presentations that I recorded. I think you're going to get a kick out of them. I had one very weird experience driving out there. It wasn't like I didn't miss any time, but it was, it was a weird floating ultra bright headlight situation. I I don't know. It was an interesting experience all in all. And I could write the whole thing up in an email for you, but, I just wanted to share some of that stuff. The ripping chair thing was really fascinating to me.
So when you interact with these people, and I'm sure you spent a good number of hours, and they probably give you information for their presentation. Is there anything that stuck out to you that was concerning with the information they presented when it came to alien abductions and what they think that the intent is with these entities?
So they, I don't know how to put this delicately. It's an interesting group of people who go to these things.
Yes.
And this was, I've never been to any other UFO events. I've been to other, call them truther adjacent events, health freedom stuff and all that. But this one, it was interesting. And you're out like in the middle of the desert in Colorado. People fly in for it and all that, but it's a small little event, and these speakers are all just kind of like wandering around too. It's like it wasn't that many people, and so you'd be you might not be surprised to learn that a lot of them say they have these experiences, and I'm sure they do, because I've had experiences. I haven't been probed by aliens, but it's they kind of, they offer a lot of different things. What I did like about the speaker lineup was that everybody had a unique perspective on what the phenomena was. Some people were talking about it in the context of ball lightning and how these plasmoids have the ability to basically create a cattle mutilation sort of result. And other people are saying, yeah, it's the chupacabra, or it's the Jews, or it's any of them. So it there was no succinct, like, agreed upon explanation, but a lot of it is, I would say it falls in within your toe comfortably, within your theory of everything. The stuff that we play around with. That's the stuff that I resonate most with.
I'd love to see the speaker list and check them out, because I currently upstairs I'm reading through a book called Paranormal Rangers, and it's about Navajo Rangers and their encounters with the paranormal while trying to enforce law and do investigations on the reservations.
That's these guys for sure. Yeah, they were awesome. I ended up talking with one of them for a while, kind of talking about cleansing rituals, and but yeah, I mean it's no joke to them. It's very real. They've got photos. It's wild. But yeah, man, that was kind of the long and short of it. But the headlight experience, I definitely want to write up for you, because I don't want to take up too much time here.
Yeah, you should send it in, man. I appreciate it.
Ryan Burns had an experience with somebody. Was it a Navajo Ranger who found him after his Skinwalker incident?
Oh, yeah. He was, Ryan Burns was basically left dizzy.
Hanging out of his car.
Yeah, and very disoriented, because he encountered a nomad or vagabond. And Ryan he claimed that he encountered a Skinwalker. Now, Ryan lives right next to Skinwalker Ranch, like the property next to it, and has had numerous interactions with the paranormal out there. Oh. And he claims that he was saved by a ranger out there. Basically said, "Hey, don't interact with these people or these creatures."
Yeah, no matter how hot they look on the side of the road, hitchhiking.
Yeah. Not only has Ryan had experiences there, but Tony Merkel has gone there to film, and they've had experiences, and Chris Matthew has gone there to film, and he's had experiences. Yeah, I asked them both, like, did you see UFOs? They're like, yeah, you get bored seeing them after a while. There's so many of them, especially if you put the goggles on. But what they said was, when they put the goggles on, they could see that the feds were over at the other side of the mountain watching them.
Of course. Yeah. Well, hey, thank you, Breaker, for calling in, man. I'm going to open up the phone lines back up.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
you guys
Jeff.
have a great day.
All right, bye.
Talk to you later.
Yeah, there's multiple different entities, multiple different agendas by these groups, and they vary in their agenda. And as bizarre as it sounds, I think that's the case.
I'd like to make just a quick pivot here for 1 second. If you go to Activist Post, which is the company that I now own, which is great independent news, and you go into an article, you can sign up for a newsletter. If you sign up for that newsletter, you're going to get a tremendous twice a week newsletter written by Breaker, Jeff from Denver.
There it is. Have it up on screen. Go to activistpost.com. Sign up for the newsletter, people.
Jeff's doing tremendous work with me over there. You'll dig his tone. It's properly exacerbated or exhausted and frustrated with the state of affairs. You'll resonate with it. Sign up for the newsletter and get connected to us. Thank you, Jeff, for amazing work.
And caller, you are on the air with us.
Hey.
Hello. Who are we talking to?
Today?
We're doing well. Who are we talking to?
This is Scarlett.
Hey, Scarlett. What is on your mind?
Well, the previous phone call, he made me think of something. I've had a lot of paranormal things happen to me in my lifetime. I've tried to dismiss them, but I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm not a crazy person or anything like that. I mean, these things that they've really happened to me. But when you're talking about Skywalker Ranch and all that, I'm like half Cherokee and I'm part Comanche. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. If there's something with our genetics that make these things attracted to us, whether we want it or not. I don't know.
Well, I think if you through UFO literature, they do appear to be interested in genetic lines. Like I don't know if Native Americans are more predisposed to interactions and abductions, but typically, if you have been abducted or have had encounters, it's more likely that either a mother or a daughter has also had those weird encounters. So if you have a child, or talk to your mother or grandmother and see if they've had these weird interactions, because I suspect that you'll find a few more cases like that.
Well, that brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about is that, so I used to have a Jeep, and so where the Cash Landrum incident happened, that's in my area. I've traveled that road many times. That's how I get to my best friend's house. And so me and my daughter were coming home from her house at one time, and it was really funny because ironically we were listening to Coast to Coast and they were talking about UFOs or whatever, and we saw a black triangle, and that's the first time I'd ever seen a UFO. And here's my daughter with me. I want to say like maybe at the time she was maybe 12, 13, something like that. She's 20 now, so it's been a while. But we both just looked up and said, huh? You look at that. And it was like nothing. You would think, okay, we're seeing a UFO. You would be really excited about it. And whoa. And I do remember it was really quiet. It was really low, all the things that you hear about it. But I can't remember. There's a researcher, a writer or whatever. He says in his mind, if you see one, you've been abducted. I don't feel like I've ever been abducted at all. But like I said, I've just always had such weird, odd occurrences in my life. And my sister even told me, like, I've got really strong intuition. I can say something that's going to happen, and it will happen. I don't even mean to do it. It freaks people out, freaks me out. But one of my sisters once told me, she said, well, Mama used to be that way. So when you're telling me these things, I'm kind of like, huh, yeah, these are all adding up. Kind of crazy.
Well, intergenerational, usually.
And it's tough to know the reason why, other than these things. Like, there are different phenomena. Like, just because you see a black triangle doesn't necessarily that's the same phenomenon as like a ball of light or a dog man. There could be one source, but I think they have different agendas. And it seems as though the ones that are abducting people and extracting blood and genetic material, they have a specific agenda, and it relates to cloning and hybridization. And I think they have moved past like the mass abduction phase, And now they are moving into phase 2 or phase 3, where they have deployed some of these products, these experiments, and they are integrating them into society in some way. And the only reason that they're continuing to abduct people is for additional material that they may not be able to replicate on their own, or it's just easier because we're a natural resource here. It might be just easier to grab it from us. And they want to create some sort of hybrid. As a story read a couple weeks ago, like the scientists discovered DNA sequences within us humans that should not be there, and he's begging for peer review on his discovery.
Well, I remember hearing on Coast to Coast again one other time. I really wish I could remember these names. I'm going to have to try to go back and find them. But they definitely, when you're saying hybrids, they had a really, a really crazy story of a girl. It's the mom was telling this researcher about how her daughter, her dorm mate, was a hybrid, but she was very strange. And it was kind of like she was put there with the daughter so she could learn how to become human, like how to act like a human. They said she didn't eat regular food. She drank some kind of green, like a green shake or something like that. So, I mean, that's all lining up. I mean, I want to meet one. Like, hey, what's the deal?
They
what's going on with you?
They might just act like Zoomers, like the young generation, but we won't know until they come into power. Well, hey, Scarlett, hey, thanks for calling up. We're going to move on and see if I can take some more phone calls here.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you. Hey,
bye.
Charlie.
Bye.
I love you, Joe.
Bye, Scarlett.
And Joe got a big shout out there. Joe does not indulge in this topic. I think that we could be dealing with time-traveling vampires, but that's just me.
Well, the only explanation I can come up with is they're using the cows for fuel.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah, they turned the cows inside out so that they could go across dimensions. It makes nothing but sense.
I chit-chatted with Joe on text, and he got Battlefield 6, and he thinks it's pretty good.
We all understand science and planets and intergravitational travel and wormholes and shit. What are you talking about?
Yeah. That's what Joe says. Maybe this is the last phone call here. Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Hello. Yeah, right. Is this Mike?
This is Mike and Charlie. Who are we talking to?
Hey, Mike. This is Murphy.
Hey, Murphy. What's going on? What's on your mind?
I have so many experiences that, like, run the gambit from skinwalkers to UFOs to, we were in West Virginia last month, and did you hear about the spiral?
I did see the spiral on like Twitter, but I didn't talk about it.
And we were just floating on Summersville Lake on our kayaks, and I just happened, like, something, I don't know, made me look over, and I look over in the sky, and there's one of those spirals in the sky over West Virginia. I could not believe it. And I got a really crappy, like, potato shot with my phone. And
they tell us those spirals in the sky, because this goes back to images from Eastern Europe. They tell us it's an out of control rocket doing that, which I don't believe, but that's what they tell us.
And we were in the middle of West Virginia, and the story I looked it up when we got back from vacation, and it said that it was that exactly what you said over Florida. And we're in the middle of West Virginia, and it looked like it was, like, not too far away. It didn't look like we were looking at the sky over Florida.
I would love to see the potato camera footage of this.
Your Bigfoot camera. Luckily, you had that with you.
Yeah.
Your 1 megapixel.
See, I do have some, like, up in the, like, I'll put it up on screen. This is what claimed that some other people saw. So we'll see. But what are there some do you have any UFO or alien encounters? I'd love to know.
And then so I live in up in Michigan, and when I actually have a lot of UFO sightings. It's been really crazy. And like, but when the first one was when I was about 13, me and my mom were shopping, and we have like a private beach in our neighborhood. And we get back from shopping, and my sister and her boyfriend are like on the couch, and they look like they just saw a ghost. They're like, you could clearly tell on their face that something just happened to them. My mom's like, "What's going on with you guys?" And they're like, "We just saw a UFO." And so they supposedly ran home from the beach, which is like a half a mile away, because it came down on them, and they ran home. And so we get in the car and drive them to the beach to get their stuff, because their shoes and their towels, they just left everything and ran home. And we get there, and the sky is just full of like little points of light, basically, that are doing maneuvers that, you know, airplanes don't do, and none of them actually came down on us. And my sister said that it was one of the triangles got really close to them by the beach, but then like we just for like hours until we were bored, we're watching these things fly around in the sky.
Do you remember what year this was?
This was 93.
93. Okay, that was like the late 80s, early 90s was pretty good for like black triangles.
Yeah.
And I actually looked it up, and during that, right around that time, there was a lot of like mass sightings around Michigan, and so it seemed like it was really active back then, more than now. But then another thing is, my girlfriend is from Hamilton, Ohio, and she went to school up near Dayton, and then she started working at this like for an right at home, which is, you know, like taking care of old people. And one of her clients was this old lady who used to work at, what's the base in the middle of Ohio?
We got Wright-Patterson.
Wright-Patterson. And she used to work at Wright-Patterson, and every morning, she had dementia, and every morning she would wake up and she would get dressed and get ready to go to work, because she worked under Wright-Patterson base. And so she would always talk about how she worked under the base, and today they're going to let me see the aliens. And so like every day my girlfriend's like helping her get ready, like, you know, quote, ready for work, because she wasn't actually going into work. But her memory was, today I get to see the aliens.
Holy moly. So her dementia was just kind of replaying that portion of her life.
Yeah. And now my grandma has dementia, and like what the stuff she says really happened to her. She just keeps saying it over and over again, though. She's not like making up new stories. And so it's amazing, you know, that this lady has dementia. So you can't really like, you know, take her word for it. But at the same time, a lady with dementia is like, I get to see the aliens today.
She experienced something that left a considerable impression on her, to where that's one of the memories she replays in her dementia, which is interesting. Huh.
And then the last thing I wanted to talk, because you guys were talking about skinwalkers, and I was, and like how you're talking about how it kind of all like correlates to each other. But like when I was in, I've kind of traveled all over the country, and when I was in Utah, I spent a lot of time in Utah, and in the middle of Utah, there's a Navajo, like a museum for the Anasazi. And I was talking to this Navajo girl for a while that worked in there, and because I was afraid of skinwalkers, because like I'm on my own in the desert, just camping in the desert, and like she told me a lot of stories about skinwalkers, because her family are all Navajo, and she was talking about like the things that they have to do to become skinwalkers, and how you have to become pure evil and like kill family, you know, do like really messed up stuff to become pure evil, to become a skinwalker. So it's like interesting, you know, that like it's correlated to the UFOs and everything, but also like if you actually talk to the Navajo, then they kind of have a different story where have their own traditions where they're becoming skinwalkers without, you know, like an extraterrestrial source, or, you know.
They're just like, it's a transformation that they can do once they embody the darkness, much like Bill Gates.
Oh, Billy boy.
Yes, exactly like Bill Gates.
Well, hey, thank you for calling up, man. We're going to move on and do some wacky news and then wind down the show.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I love the show.
Hey, thank you there, man.
Murphy.
I'm going to blow them up. Boom. Yeah, we're going to move on and do some crazy news here. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. People have experiences out there. People want to convey these experiences.
What about you, Mike? Anything ever?
Nothing as of late. Nothing as of late. All my experiences I've shared, whether it was a night vision goggles in Sedona, where I saw some stuff in the sky, or
I need to do that.
Growing up, some paranormal experiences, but nothing consistent to where, I live in the middle of the woods. I don't see like lights in the woods or anything like that. So I nothing that I could write a book about, as much as I would like to. I don't have those kind of experiences, but I'm searching for them, and I have my own thoughts on the phenomenon, obviously, but I am completely enthralled with people that have these experiences and continued experiences throughout their life. I've had little just dots here and there.
Yeah.
So I got this crazy story. This was sent in, and this is in the Discord. White Rabbit put this in our Discord, and here it is. Here is the headline here. Quote: "You come out or we come in. Masked trio threatens homeowners in horrifying video."
That's good news.
Not the best news, but police in Virginia are investigating an apparent break-in after a video shows a trio of people dressed in scary costumes terrorizing a frightened family. The alarming incident, which was captured on the home's Ring surveillance camera, took place Tuesday, October 14th, in Alexandria, a city just south of Washington, D.C. The police department said that the agency is searching for 3 suspects in connection with the creepy case captured in viral footage circulating online. During a press conference after the incident, the police chief told reporters the police believe that the trio were trying to break into the home. Quote, "I want to be very clear, this is a very serious matter. They began to act as if they were engaging in a prank," the police chief said. That prank that was alleged to have happened later turned serious as they began to make threatening and alarming comments to the family. People who are in their residence, according to our laws and laws across the nation, can defend themselves. And so here's like the Ring surveillance. I'll play it. And there's just like creepy people like standing outside, like wearing like almost demonic clown outfits. Like I tell you what, if they were doing this to me, I would have got my gun. And as soon as if they attempted to come in, you have to defend yourself and your family at that point.
It's the only time I would listen to Joe Biden.
Exactly. Finally, Joe Biden's advice finally really makes sense.
Buy a shotgun.
Yeah.
Fired 2 blasts outside the house.
And here's the a little bit of this Ring camera.
Worst nightmare. Your worst nightmare. Open the door. I see you.
Yeah, it's just 3 guys out there.
Either you come out or we coming in. I'm gonna get you.
So they said this lasted for about 10 minutes that these guys stood outside saying this stuff. Now, I wish it didn't have that crazy music underneath. Is this a new version of because we have Ring cameras now? I don't have one, but other people do. Instead of like knocking and running away, you do stuff like this now in this new age.
This is a bad idea. I think this should go without saying. Somebody is going to get a stomach full of buckshot, and that's going to be the end of this.
Yeah.
And of course, they'll probably get sued and lose.
Probably. This is south of D.C. Yeah, they might not. This is in Virginia.
Somebody will open the door and give them both barrels because they've been watching enough movies, or maybe they're on SSRIs, or they came home from the bar drunk and you woke them up in the middle of the night, or they're just done. They're just done. They've had enough. They open the door and they say, "Let's go."
Yeah.
And they start blasting, right? So I would really advise against this. It's a good way to get yourself killed. And if you're joking, I mean, if this is just some sort of like ding dong ditch gone bad, you better really know who you're messing with. Because if it's just some random person or some guy,
like the video, oh my
you
God.
get some dude who just came back who's been edgy ever since he got back from Iraq, and you do that to him at his front door, and he goes out there and he strangles you on the porch.
Yeah.
I mean, oh well.
This is creeps. I think I found the original video. This is a minute long. I'll play it and we can listen to it. But at about the 30-second mark, one of the guys gets up to the door and tries to open the door to the home. Here it is.
Open up the door! Holy make her right inside! Open up the door! Who is it? Open up the door before we make her right inside!
He's dressed like Michael Myers. And he tries to open the door. Right there.
Open up the door! Bad then, we will make our way in somewhere in this house. From the back or the front, it don't matter how it takes. Open the door! Open the door!
That dog is not doing any favors to the homeowner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean,
you show that to a jury, and like you're on. Listen, yeah.
What am I supposed to think?
I shot him 16 times. I shot all those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? I thought they were going to come in.
Yeah, and especially when they are reaching and trying to open up the door. You're dressed.
You have to make a calculation here.
Look, you're dressed like Michael Myers. You're asking for it. So nothing positive happens to people who dress up like Michael Myers. Okay, you're asking for a little bit. You dress up like a Michael Myers. You're going around to people's houses. It's not trick or treat right now. And you're doing this, you're basically asking to be hurt. You are. And I'm sure it sounded like they were giggling and laughing, possibly, like this is some sort of prank. But to the homeowner, this is a big deal. It's a big deal. So I doubt that the cops will find these people. I'm just saying, I doubt they will.
I don't think that the percentage of solved crimes by the cops is extremely high.
No.
And this does not strike me as being a priority to them.
No, I don't think so. Especially just south of D.C. But we do have another big story here. This is incredible news that we are going to talk about right now. Charmin announces new toilet paper roll designed to last up to a whole month.
Oh, really?
Yes. This is it.
Have they ever met Chachos?
I don't know.
This is what I want. This is what I need.
Yeah, they haven't gone to Chachos
challenge.
We're looking at this thing. This is your apocalyptic size roll of toilet paper. It is. It picture like a 35 millimeter like film canister. And then double or triple the thickness of it, and that's your toilet paper roll right there. And Charmin has made this unholy amount of. But here's the thing: like you could buy this, but you got to buy a specific toilet paper dispenser to hold this thing. It's going to require a pretty rigid rod. But here, I think
better not have a cat.
No. Oh yeah. Your cat would go crazy with this
or a
thing.
baby.
So here it is. Here's Charmin. It's just like fun music. And this is a horrible video. They don't need to do this, okay? But Charmin has a new big release. Starting Thursday, the brand is introducing what it calls the Forever Roll. It is 1,700 sheet roll of toilet paper that is meant to last up to a month based upon a 2-person household. I'll run through this in a week.
Easily.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Depending on Mongolian barbecue or whatever.
It depends on where you go out that night because shit can happen. But this roll is about 32 times larger than your standard roll.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, it's huge. The Forever Roll is available online and in stores, including Walmart, Target, and Amazon. The company is even doing a 30-day money-back guarantee. Wait, I got to give it back after 30 days?
That sounds like a challenge.
Used and all. Charmin insists that it's still the same soft 2-ply tissue people love. So get it right now, people. So let's see. How much does this cost? So the Forever Roll, I got to know. Toilet paper. And maybe I'll do a giveaway on the next show.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Who wouldn't want a gigantic spool of industrial grade toilet paper?
Well, it's great for if you're going out there and you want to toilet paper somebody's house. Boom, you just got to bring one roll with you.
It's good for.
That's just
or if you, if you need to take a dump in the apocalypse, then it's good for that. But I would not rotate this into your master bathroom.
No, and it's pretty hard to maneuver too when it comes to packing. It's probably not good for a go bag or anything like that. But
no, it's a spare tire.
Pretty much. It is like a spare tire. It is. I'm still trying to get a price on this thing, and I'm not.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Maybe not. Where's the price? Please. No one's giving me a price. I'm trying to go to Target and Walmart. Maybe it's at Walmart.
That sounds like a Walmart thing.
It does. Please. I just want to know how much. Just give me a... No. Oh, here we go.
But have you seen the math? Already the math is like Common Core math on the toilet paper and paper towel wrapping. It's the mega rolls equals 6 normal rolls, and that whole conversion is totally a total abomination. So,
well, here we go. If you want to get Charmin Forever Roll, 3 rolls and a stand, it is $73.99.
This is what I want. This is what I need.
Yes, there it is.
And an autographed can of Lysol by Alex Jones.
Yep. That would be an upsell that I would probably participate in. That's not bad. Alex Jones should co-brand with this, and I would be all on board.
He's missing a huge opportunity here.
Yeah, well.
In my bathroom, there's a big bottle of Lysol. Will somebody run in there and get that for me?
I mean, he could just sit, he could order them by the case and just sit there with a big Sharpie and sign, World War IV, Alex Jones, and just sell those things on the InfoWars store in conjunction with a survival toilet paper, month-long toilet paper. I mean,
why aren't they selling this on Amazon yet?
I need to go to the bathroom.
I'm gonna order one for this house. I'm not going to tell my wife, and I'm going to try to cram it into the existing toilet paper holders that I have. I'm not going to tell her.
Something tells me that she'll find you.
Yeah, she will.
Have the conversation.
Like, what the hell is going on around here?
What is this? What are you doing?
Yeah. We'll move on, though. And they got one more story for everyone out there. Here we go. And this is something maybe people have considered doing. You might want to check out the results of this one. But there's an Indian man. He fakes his own death to see who would attend his funeral.
Oh, really?
It's not. This is something that you hear about in fables and like folk tales and old stories. Like the king would fake his own death or something like that to see who would show up. But yeah, a 74-year-old man who wanted to check who would grieve his passing, faked his death, and staged a mock funeral to see who would attend. So he had to lay there the entire time? This is incredibly boring. And you'd have to have a lot of patience.
I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, this is like from like the 1950s. This is almost like It's a Wonderful Life kind of thing.
Yeah. Rich guy died, fakes his own death, see who shows up, see who just loved him for his money.
So the people of this small village in India were shocked at the sudden passing of Mohan Lal, a local 74-year-old former Air Force veteran. It was confusing to see the procession when most people didn't even know he had died. But that didn't stop people from joining in the procession, mourning the poor man, and taking part in all the traditional rites. But what really stunned people was the moment he got up from his casket. They soon learned that the funeral was nothing but a twisted test thought up by the 74-year-old man himself to see how many people cared about him. Boy, how narcissist are you?
Jesus.
Like, to really think of it, is anybody going to care when I die? Well, you're dead.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no, now this has turned
You can
people
only
off.
pull this once, my friend.
You never heard of The Boy Who Cries Wolf? Now no one's going to show up to your funeral because they think you're just being some jerk doing this again.
No. Now you have to go out like Hunter S. Thompson. You have to load yourself into a cannon and fire yourself into a lake
to get any sort of recognition. But hey, you know what? They're doing more investigations into Hunter S. They are looking. I read that it might not have been suicide. That there might have been some foul play involved for Hunter S.
Yeah. Interesting.
So Mohan asked some of his relatives to help him spread the word about his passing and had other people take him to the crematorium on a decorated bier to make the stunt believable. Hundreds of residents rushed to join the mourning ceremony, which pleased this guy and reassured him that the community's respect to make locals forgive him for the mock funeral. Mohan organized a big feast for everyone. So he paid him off in probably Burger King or Taco Bell.
We're all getting killed here.
So all is well that ends well. So
a hell of a stunt to promote his upcoming new book, his new podcast.
Yeah, he wasn't even selling anything. And this is all for his own ego, to make sure people mourned him, and they showed up. And he found out, so now he can rest easy. Rest easy, old timer. People used to care about you.
Now everybody hates you.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Well, Charlie, where can everyone check you out, buddy?
Macroaggressions.io is the website. Go to activistpost.com. You can get all your news there. Sign up for the newsletter. And follow me on Twitter. Go get the audiobooks, too. The Grimerica guys did the voices for it. You'll love them.
And also, you're now back on YouTube.
Yes. Yes. If you find a Macroaggressions channel, it's got about 7,000 subscribers. That's me. So go ahead and follow. I don't know. I make no representations about how long it'll be there.
You got to get those numbers up. Come on, go follow and subscribe to Charlie on YouTube and start making some noise over there. It all helps, like the comments. That's how YouTube tracks if they're going to recommend. So the more comments there are.
Call me names.
Yeah, call them names. Tell me.
I don't care.
He's a big, stupid fathead. It's a good comment. It's controversial. YouTube likes that.
Piss.
Go in there and say piss. He likes that too.
Piss.
But Gretchen, we'll be back on Wednesday, I believe. We'll have another fun-filled episode for everyone out there. And just remember that the UFOs are coming down to take your blood and your DNA, and they're doing God knows what with it, but you don't have a decision over that.
It's all happening.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. It is all happening.
It's all officially happening.
Yes, it is. No kings today, people. So just keep that in mind. If you're out there driving around doing some shopping, you might see some protests, and they don't want kings. No kings.
No kings.
No
Just
kings.
queens.
Yeah, I guess so. And apparently there was money behind that. But you're not seeing any of that, so don't worry about it.
No. You're protesting for free.
Mm-hmm.
This is great.
Congratulations.
And I think there will be doom scrolling on Tuesday. Sam and I took the week off. And we'll be back on Tuesday. And hopefully we'll have Charlie and Ricky on soon. And do like a rotation of featured guests on doom scrolling. I got to think about how we're going to do that, too. Like, when guests come on, they should probably send in some videos that they want to be included in the wheel. That might be kind of cool. Well, thank you, Charlie. Thank you, everyone. And shablagoo.
Shablagoo and piss.
Come on.
That's about all.
Shablagoo. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.
Well, now you know the rest of the story.
I've had it up to here.